One of those nights again for Michigan basketball, this time in their home finale against Maryland. Back from the Chrysler Center, better late than never, here on the Michigan Basketball Postgame Live show. Thanks for watching this broadcast whenever you're doing that or listening to it if it's on the podcast. We like to get here after each and every Michigan basketball game. There it is, the final 71-65. Maryland wins it. And this is one of those shows where it feels a little bit like a postmortem for the season. I know they have a few more outs, but what we're all looking at, what we're all watching, I think we all feel the same way, that this team is headed in the opposite direction that you want, that this is a team that it's too bad. This was a team that gave you some thrills this year and won some close games. And you said some things like, man, if they could just do, a lot of times it was just get better with the turnovers and they could shoot better and they could get the bench going and, those kind of things. And some of it, they did get going, but they look like a pretender in March. And I'm with the group now. I don't think they're going to win Sunday. I don't want to make this sound. I mean, it is. I mean, it sounds pretty. I mean, it is negative. I think it's appropriate. I don't think they're going to win Sunday. We don't know who they're going to play in the Big Ten tournament. Do I feel confident that they can win a game there? Not really. And then they will be a team that people will look at in the NCAA tournament and they'll say, that's a team that's ripe for upset. They turn the ball. They can't really shoot. They are not good at the free throw line, and they don't have guard play. And when you're looking for teams that you pick in March that are going to win and they're going to advance, almost the first thing out of everyone's mouth is do they have strong guard play? And Michigan does not. They have bad guard play. And I was hopeful that Trey Donaldson, he was part of the big three for this team with Area 51, and he showed some flashes, but he's not ready for prime time. He's throwing the ball over, and he's got to be the quarterback. He's got to facilitate the whole thing, and it's just too much for him. And then what are you going to say? Roddy Gale, Roddy Gale's a ticking time bomb with the ball. And, Reuben Jones played 3 games where he got into the starting lineup and it looked like it was a positive really for the whole team. And he did some nice things, but he was turning the ball over. I know he's coming back from being sick and losing 13 pounds, but he really hadn't done anything the whole season long. So you can't really count on him if you're like, oh, well, if Reuben, no, I don't think so. And they're at this, and the freshmen, Pippen and Kaysen, they're not ready for prime time. I mean, we see it. It's too bad again. But and you say, well, is Burnett's a nice player. Burnett's a nice player. Cheddar's a nice player. But then you get to the Wolf show, and Danny Wolf was very up and down. Danny Wolf, did he commit a turnover on 3 straight possessions? Or he's just, and then lackadaisical turnovers too. Like he's, oops, and they're going the other way. It comes down to the exact same thing 3 times in a row. Once, okay, twice. Are you kidding me? So, I mean, I could sit here and bash him and say, Dusty May, is that all Dusty May is going to do is stand there on the sideline and never raise his voice and always just have his hands folded? I mean, is this what it's going to be during the bad times and the good times? He's just going to be a statue over there. He's got to be who he's going to be. But I know I would like for him to channel some of his Bob Knight, some of the, I don't want him to have anger issues, but I didn't think he should have thrown a chair across the floor or anything. But at the half, after Michigan was, technically still alive for everything, and then they played their worst half of the year, I would have liked to have heard that he, smashed something in the bathroom or kicked something over, turned over the food spread or something. I would have liked, but I don't know. Those are just small things that don't really mean a whole lot and pacify people like me and people that just would like to hear about something like that, because it's frustrating, that part, when it comes down to it. But this team, that even when things were going good, people would say, man, what about the turnovers? And the turnovers are so disheartening. And they're so bad, the turnovers. You get some of the turnovers, but Donald doesn't just throw. I mean, and tonight, all of the turnovers in the second half, because they made a little push, they were so crippling. And look, so, this is a team that doesn't really shoot well. They don't pass well. They don't shoot well. They turn the ball over way too much. It's been something they've done almost every game all year long. So expecting they're going to clean this up or they're not going to turn the ball over or something. I don't know, you're expecting something to happen that hasn't happened really all year long. They get out rebound. They're not a tough-minded rebounding team as much as you can urge them and everything. It's just not them. You saw that again tonight. They got beat on the glass again, and they don't. All the things that you want to see teams do, successful teams, good teams, teams that win in March, they don't do. You could say, well, they have Area 51, and that creates some problems. All right, it's not. It's not complete. Even though it feels like that, I don't think they're going to win another game. It doesn't feel like they're going to win another game. They're going to lose to State, lose in the first round in the conference tournament and the NCAA tournament. That's the way it looks. Maybe they could come up with a game. It'd be nice if they could come up with a game. I'd love to see them beat Michigan State. I'd love to see them win a Big Ten tournament game. I would love to see them win an NCAA tournament game, but I can't sit here and tell this audience that are Michigan basketball fans that are saying, okay, well, what do you think? I mean, you want sunshine? Go somewhere else. It's not something to, take a chair and beat them over the head with. These are just things, observations that everyone, if you're somebody that's listening and saying, oh, that's a little bit too harsh, then this is what everyone sees. And if you don't like hearing it, then go find somebody that wants to, just to throw the bouquets and flowers and talk about, well, all things considered, they made the tournament and they should be congratulated. And I really like, so I think there's a time for some of that, going back and saying, okay, nice job, Dusty, for being able to even get them into the tournament with what he had to deal with. There's a time for that. It doesn't feel like tonight. And it doesn't feel like Sunday. And then we're going through then the tournament time. And everyone that talks about this team will say that they're just not ready. That they're, you want to be really harsh, you can call them a fraud or the pretender. And, there's truth to it. So that's the sad part. Now, I went to my first game this year, sat up in the stands in section 230 in the upper bowl. And I had been to a game as a fan they played Kennesaw State probably 10 years ago, at least 8 years ago. And so before that, I don't know if I went to the Chrysler Center when it flipped from the Chrysler Arena. I went to a couple games after 2006, working, and then for 11 years I went to every game. But it's fun going to games. It's fun but the first half was not fun. The first half was, very painful. Everybody everyone wearing their maize and blue, and the families, just everybody, ready to have a good time. And the team was like, well, it was more exciting when they called the timeout to see whatever they were doing, whatever the alumni band, whatever, the crowd was doing around you, but not on the floor. But they did pick it up a little bit and have a chance. But, but every time that they got close, Maryland would hit a big shot, or Michigan would turn it over, or Michigan would miss free throws, or Michigan would Yeah, turn it over. Really. So there's no reason to go through and break this one down that way. They got to be humbling. If you're a basketball fan that's really into it and engaged, with the team and is riding with them, I'm sorry about it, and they are at the point where you say, well, hey, they're in good position for both the Big Ten tournament and maybe a 4 seed, which isn't all too bad. Maybe they can win a game. Maybe. Yeah, maybe. Stranger things have happened. But I don't think that anybody should be expecting it. If you are, like you're one of those Michigan fans that never considers the other side, like you just roll. Of course, you're riding with them, and your eyes are telling you one thing, and your head's telling you another thing. But you just got this big Michigan heart, and you say, I don't, maybe they can put it together. Maybe you got that going for you. I'm going to take a little bit of the feedback, and then that's it today. CK says we saw a pulse. CK says I'm 2 weeks late on this one. And he says most teams are peaking now while this team is feeling sorry for themselves. Which has better food, Big House or Chrysler? I don't know. I would just go at it from a media point. I'm not the person to ask there. I did see the guy was in front of me. He had 2 young girls. They're probably, 3 and 6 years old. And they had some, it looked like a bratwurst. It looked pretty good. And then the youngest girl had one of those, lemonade slushies and that looked pretty good too. And then I also saw some people around me that had, I saw some French fries. My friend that was with me, he was drinking Silver Bullets, and he had some barbecue chips. I mean, it's weird seeing people walking around with Silver Bullets and I don't know about pounding. I mean, 2 beers. He did. I did. $7 a crack. I would have guessed $8.50, but that's different. Seeing people with beers in their hand. But it was good to be up with the people. And I don't know about the fare, comparing it to the Big House. That's out of I just don't have the experience. I don't know what to tell you there. But I think Jesse's got it. We aren't peaking. We are regressing. Rep guessing that I'm a twisted tea type fellow. I've never had a twisted tea. I am a beer guy. So give me beer, and then after that, a little red wine. Other than that, I don't. The strong stuff I can't handle. I never have been able to since I pretty much gave up any kind of hard liquor by the time I was 21 or 22. I just couldn't handle it. I mean, it's just really, really debilitating for me. But so it's beer and a little red wine. That's about it. But not any kind of twisted tea. And those Silver Bullets. If truth be told, if somebody just dropped me off there and said, go sit up in the stands and I was going to say I had a pack of money or a stack of money, but I think it's everything's done paperless at Chrysler. And somebody said, just run up $100, $200 tab. I could, throw down 6, 7 Silver Bullets pretty fast. But I wouldn't do that at a basketball game. I'd spend too much time in the bathroom. So I would just, skip that altogether, that part. TV, that's, being at home a little bit different. The way you're doing it. That kind of thing. 2 more. CK U of M has 2 legit players, and one of those 2 are off. This team is D2 caliber. Yeah, I mean, Jesse V. Vlad had a great game. I don't know about that, but he says he noticed a flaw in his game. He's a black hole, which results in him not being a good passer out of the block. He's not a good passer out of the block. You're right about that. Not a good passer out of the block. Maryland had a good. You can see the scouting for the other teams running at him whenever he catches the ball anywhere. If he gets a perfect position down low, he could be pretty tough if he goes quick. But you push him out a little bit and he gets the ball. He's not good at passing it. Teams blitz him. They surround him, and he doesn't move it quick enough. And, you saw him get ripped, the one time. Got to be stronger. He's their best player. So me even, saying anything about him, he's the least of their problems. He's the one thing that they've got going for him. But, that's it. That's it. All right. Hey, thanks so much for watching this. We'll be back on Sunday. And then, of course, after Sunday, it's tournament time. I love the conference tournaments. I know a lot of people like to complain about them, and sure, complain all the way. I love them. I like it a lot more when Michigan's involved and they win a couple games, nothing like it. So we'll see what happens there. And then the NCAA tournament, there's not 4 better days consecutively in the sports calendar. It is just for somebody like me, it's everything sports wise. I just love it. And so we got that coming up. All right. We'll see you Friday on the Good Afternoon Michigan Football on this feed that you're watching or listening to right now. I'll see you Sunday after the Michigan State game. That's a noon start. And then we'll see you over on the Maize and Blue Review on the Den, talking about Michigan football and basketball all day and all night. So long, everybody. Thanks for watching. Maryland wins it 71-65. Good night.